What's shaking, everybody? My name is Ross Mandell. I'm coming to you guys live today from Delray Beach, Florida. Scott Woolley Studios. We got a real treat for you all today. You know, she was introduced to me as a trauma specialist. What does that even mean? But we're going to find out today. She's a beautiful woman who has an incredible story. It's a tale of courage, guts, and sort of introspection. We're going to take this journey with Alisa Gracheva. I'm working on that name.
You've said it perfectly. I'm honored to be here and would gladly answer any questions you have.
It's just so nice to meet you. I mean, you know, you've written a book. It's called Walking with Spirit.
Yeah.
And we never met before, correct?
No.
We never spoke, but except for a few minutes before the cameras were on.
Yes, correct.
And I've been walking with spirit my whole life. But you wrote a book about it. So you've defined it, elaborated, and all these good things. And I was told that, you know, you were a trauma specialist. You're intuitive, spirituality, inner guidance. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, I think at some point, the human experience, we've all endured trauma.
Yeah.
You know, some more than others. So what I love to do is I love to dial the clock back because the Alisa sitting here today wasn't a specialist when you were a little girl growing up in the Soviet Union. So tell us your story.
Oh, yes, that's correct. I'm a Soviet baby. I was born in '89, which was before the Soviet Union collapsed. It was a very humble upbringing. My mom did the best she could. My father wasn't really in the picture. So living with people who went through the war as well was something that I've learned a lot from them, you know, about how their childhood was. And I think that helped me also not only move through life and understand human consciousness, hardships of life, so that ultimately led me to immigration. At the 18 years old, I moved to the United States by myself. And I think growing up on those stories actually helped me navigate transition quite well, knowing that people went through worse, right? And again, that gave me a lot of perspective growing up in Russia. And I think right now when I look at everything that's going on in the world, actually it's sad to see that people don't understand how good we have it now. And, you know, from this goodness that was created through hardships and battlefields and wars, we now have it good, and now it again begins to collapse. And I think if we learn to appreciate and practice gratitude a little more, maybe we would make a better times right now, all over the world, really. So.
You have a great perspective. I love that. I mean, I'm a little older, so I get that. But I want to ask you a question. So this was '89. So we don't have to ask you how old you are. It was a question in my mind, but I've learned you never ask a woman that, especially on camera.
No, yeah, there's no problem.
I know women for years. I have no idea how old they are. I just want you to know. But what I want to understand is where in the Soviet Union?
It's called Nizhny Novgorod. It used to be...
Slow down. Say it again.
Nizhny Novgorod. Nizhny, it's like down,
right.
Novgorod, because we have just Novgorod and we have Nizhny Novgorod, which is a big city. It's actually the third biggest city in Russia, considered.
Say it again. What's the name of the city?
Nizhny Novgorod.
Is that how we say it in English?
Yeah, but it used to be Gorky when I was born. It was a different name.
I've heard of Gorky, yeah.
Right, so that was the place I was born in. But
how far from Moscow? I mean, Soviet Union is huge.
It's actually not that far. I would say it's about 1,000 kilometers away.
Okay, it's like 700 miles.
Approximately.
So this is really Russia.
Yeah.
You're born in like Mother Russia.
Yeah, it became, you know, Russian Federation. So eventually, right. But it was Soviet Union back when I was born in Soviet
I've met a lot of people that were born in the Soviet Union, but now it's all different countries. But you were still in Russia.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So, and you mentioned hardship. And it was different there.
Yes, but the thing is, when you're growing up in this and you don't know anything better,
right?
That's kind of a norm for you. Yeah, we couldn't afford things that I wanted to have. That was out of the question. And
no Prada.
Oh God! I was wearing clothes after my brother and my cousin, so That was not something. But again, you wear clothes, you have clothes, you have food on your table, you have roof
That's
over
all you
your
know.
head.
You don't.
Absolutely. You don't question it. I mean, there wasn't comparison. Well, be grateful for this because there are kids in Africa. That wasn't a thing, right? Because there's not a comparison that you could have made back in the
I get
day.
that.
So, but again, you know what you know, you don't know any better. And so maybe that's why now I'm so prone to shopping sometimes, because I like to get stuff that I want to have because as a child, and again, the trauma of the childhood, which we're going to get into, but naturally when you're not able to afford what you want, and sometimes you see people having what you like, but you're not able to have it. So now I'm like, you know what? I want to treat my inner child. And if I want this, I'm going to get it for myself.
Good for you.
Little treats, little treats.
Good for you. I mean, I spent my whole life just getting, because if I want something, that's what I do. I mean, it's I don't understand people that don't like go for it. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I never looked at one thing in my life and said, I wish I could have that, and then didn't ever have it. I mean, it's ridiculous. Whether it was a woman, I mean, a house, a car, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So a lifestyle, that's what I really looked at, people that had a lifestyle that was different. I tried to understand it from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
Or I didn't look at it as better or worse, but I looked at it as different.
Yeah.
And I had to decide if I want that. And then at some point I got it. I wanted it. And
Yeah.
but as we said earlier, before the cameras were rolling, certain things as a man, I wanted my woman to be happy.
Yeah.
So let her pick out the window treatments and the house. I get everything. I hate to say it,
Yeah.
But okay, so you're this little girl in Russia. It's all you know. You have a nice little family. Your mom still lives there.
Yes, my mom comes here every year, approximately, to stay with me for a couple of months. So it's been now, her stay is coming to an end, but it's been a good 3 months. It's going to be by the time she leaves. So it's
nice having mom.
She's my best friend. She's my everything. So for me, she's the most important person in my life. And we have this telepathic connection that I think and she says it, or she thinks and I'm saying it. Sometimes she's like, maybe. I'm like, yes. And we understand that we are talking about the same thing, even though it was out of context. And I love her so much. We have absolutely the same eyes. And all my childhood, I was trying to prove that I was adopted. So that was fun. Because again, I've had my own trauma growing up. And I've learned that I lived in dissociation since I was about 2 or 3 years old until 34.
Disassociation?
Yeah.
That's a word. That's a big word. We're going to get to that.
Yeah.
So this is really great stuff. So you divorced, you were married 5 years, you were with the guy for 6 years.
Yeah.
You still share a parrot. She has 2 dogs and a parrot.
That's not him that I share the parrot with. It's my
Okay.
the next person who is still in my life, and he's a great human. So, and the parrot loves him to death. The parrot is bilingual, by the way. It's a mess.
You have a bilingual parrot?
Yes.
I'm guessing he speaks Russian.
He does, unfortunately, but that's not what I taught him. So I taught him good stuff in English, which was give me a kiss, my baby boy, I miss you so much, good morning. All of that he says when he's happy. But then he learned things that I say to the dogs in Russian, because one of the dogs is 12 or 13 years old right now. So back in the day, I used to speak more Russian than English. Right now, my Russian is not good. But I've learned to kind of, what I've spoken to the dogs with, that's what the parrot internalized. And now when he's pissed off, he starts yelling in Russian. But what he yells in translation
is, up from the dogs.
Stop it, what are you doing? Go to your place. Their names too. So anytime the dog barks, he calls the name, because that's what I usually yell back to the dog. So he says that in Russian. So that's hilarious if he's pissed
hilarious.
off. Yeah.
John is currently nurturing 2 parakeets.
Oh my goodness.
And the squirrels are trying to break in. In fact, they're coming after these parakeets.
Really?
It's a whole big issue. But yeah, it's a great story. But listen, you mentioned trauma a few times, disassociation.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
So I had multiple traumas throughout my lifetime. And I think if we learn that, I wouldn't say we're all going to experience multiple traumas, but we're going to experience stressful events that sometimes can impact us in a certain way, because how we internalize experiences will predict whether we're going to have a trauma or not, right? Because trauma is something that we get stuck with. And just like there is this distinction between the big T's and the capital T and a small t, because we have big traumas like, again, rape, abuse, prolonged exposure to neglect, wars, being on the battlefield as well. That's the big T's, big traumas. But we also have smaller events, for instance, not getting our needs met as children, for instance, not being validated, not being cared for, not for a prolonged period of time, but a situation that takes place because kids internalize a lot of things. When we're little, we're either responsible for the world or we are the world. And so anything that we perceive and see in the outside of ourselves, we can internalize as something damaging that creates a belief underneath all that. So again, understanding trauma, we have to understand how the system works because it's not just a mental process. We have, Dan Siegel calls it top brain and the bottom brain. So the top brain is when we make sense of the events, we rationalize things, right? We try to brainstorm and understand what's going on. However, that's not where trauma is encoded. And we have the bottom brain, we're going to call it simplistically. It's when we experience something, the neurons fire and wire, creating neural connections. In a lot of cases, negative events create negative neural connections with, again, just like if we're watching a scary movie, we're not just sitting there yawning, saying, oh yeah, that's so scary. That's mental, right? But when we get scared, when we get jumpy, when we experience something that shakes us up, that startle response, right? Then we say, okay, that movie was really scary because our system felt it. It's not just a mental experience.
Interesting.
So when this neurons fire and wire, let's say, I always say, let's go back to my story, right? My mom made few comments about my brother growing up, and for her, he was, I would say, a partner in crime because my father wasn't present. So of course they had a stronger bond back in the day.
Okay.
But for me as a little girl, that was internalized as I'm not good enough, or anything I'm doing may not be, sufficient as well. Maybe I have to try to achieve something more. And so for me, one of my negative beliefs that's been encoded in my system is not being enough. And so until today,
it's not being enough.
Not being enough, that I'm not doing enough. I have to proceed and accomplish more.
In what regard? Like as in a relationship with a man, or in business, or
myself, just in general. Let's give you an example.
Too heavy, not thin enough. I mean,
well, that's for sure. But that was from ballet. That was when I was performing. I studied ballet. I worked in Russian ballets.
Where did this come in?
Rough. Well, that's my past.
Kirov ballet? I didn't know.
Yeah.
So you can do toe and all these things?
I used to. Now it's been since 2017.
You have calves like rocks, and you can, I had a girlfriend who used to just sit with her toes in.
Yes.
She would, we'd sit on the couch, and I'd be like,
I can, but I'm getting old now for that career, so I'm trying
not so old. This is really interesting. So you were a dancer.
Yeah.
See, people don't know, unless you know, that it's a very serious thing in Russia.
Absolutely.
The Kirov ballet is like the most famous ballet in the world, really. Right up
One
there.
of the, yeah.
Really, but it's really a big deal. So you trained as a dancer when you were, from the time you were a little girl?
Yeah, and when I came here, actually, I performed as well. We had a show at the Russian place.
Slow down. You were 18?
Yeah, from 18 out, I was performing at the show here in Hollandale. We had a restaurant called Tatiana Restaurant. It was a Russian place. Now it's closed.
I've heard of that place,
Yeah, I've been there for 8 years. I've done, it's like a Vegas-style show. We even had a real tiger performing with us at one point. So it was quite a time. It was a period of my life that was very exciting, but it's now gone. So now it's different places. So that era is over.
No more dancing with the tiger.
No, but I left before they closed. I like to leave with my head up, that I choose, not when something is closing down. I like to make sure I make a epic exit, so to say. So I did leave that career, and it was hard to restructure too, to a very new area.
And you get paid for all that, right? You're a performer.
Of course, yeah. In the past, yeah. Now again, it's been since 2017, that's when my career ended, and I transitioned fully to be doing what I'm doing now. So it was school, it was a lot of volunteer work, all of the experiences that I could take to help others. So
it's a fascinating story. So you were a dancer. From what I understand, I've met no one like yourself, but people sort of like yourself. Mm-hmm. And they specifically ballet, it's brutal. I mean, it's like they're training, and the people don't understand. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger, in the famous movie Pumping Iron, for posing and stuff, he took ballet. Mm-hmm. And it's in the movie, a very, very famous movie called Pumping Iron. And he becomes, Mr. Olympia. He wins like 7 times. Mr. Olympia. It's a very famous movie called Pumping Iron, but it's about ballet, about how to pose and how to hold your body, and the musculature. I mean, it's like what? And was there trauma related to being a young girl in the Soviet Union and competing against other young girls? Are you good enough? Are you thin enough? Are you
Yeah.
limber enough? Do you have enough stamina to keep, competitive sports or competitive anything?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I wasn't in the sport in that way. I wasn't competing, but I was performing. And
Which is
so
competing. You're competing against the other girls in the school. You didn't just start in the
no,
top
no,
ballet
absolutely
company.
not.
You had
And
to go, there's different levels, right?
absolutely. And they're rough. Like Russian ballet is rough. So you
Rough.
get the comments you hear about yourself and how you move is straightforward. But I think that's what gave me kind of thick skin to criticism in a lot of ways, even though I am sensitive. But I also
Interesting.
know how to compartmentalize that. So I know when I can take something and say, you know what, I'm going to make that better. I'm going to work on this little thing. I have a tendency to get a little perfectionistic when it comes to, I like things to be the best they can, and it's not always happening in that way. So I'm learning to walk with grace, and I think that's what a lot of people also need to learn, is to give themselves credit for what they have achieved and not feeling like they're not enough, even no matter what they're trying to do, because the world can tell us one thing, but then we have to learn to find our own definition of ourselves and our progress, rather than trying to compete with anybody on the outside, because we're trying to compete with that one thing, but we're not just that one thing. Because there's always someone who is going to be better than you in that one area, always. But they're not you in the big scheme of things if you put everything together in one.
That's beautiful the way you just did that. That's beautiful. I get that. I love that. Yeah. Now, you mentioned that your mom is your best friend. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned a brother or two.
Just one brother.
One brother?
Yeah.
And you?
Just two kids, yeah.
And no dad?
Well, my dad was alive until 2020, but he wasn't a parent. He was a father. He did provide, at least financially, especially when it's gotten a little better. But I saw him probably once a year, so it was not like
once a year?
Yeah, he wasn't living with us. So.
I mean, growing up, once a year?
Yeah. So it was not something. There was a period when...
Did he have like another family? Is that...
He was married twice after the marriage with my mom. And there was a lot of coming into spirituality, there was a lot of very interesting experiences. My mom she had near-death experience when I was very little. And she was told afterwards, because Russia is big on having psychics and mediums working with you. And so she was actually told that his woman, the next wife that he had, and he had 3 wives total, she made a pact, right, with someone on my mom's death, so that to get him out of the family. And so my father was never the same after meeting that woman. So it was interesting how it affected him. It was my mom always told me, I didn't marry this guy. She's like, I married a different person before.
The other guy, but he's changed.
Yeah, a lot.
Crazy.
A lot. And
so growing up, you experienced a lot of, this is trauma. Not having a dad, he has another family.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I get it now. Because what you told me, and I think you mentioned it briefly, we're going to get to this, you leave the Soviet Union, you go to Miami, of all places.
Yeah.
What year did you come to Miami?
2008. So
by yourself?
By myself. I had a friend who joined, but then she went back home and I stayed.
Okay, and now in 2008 was the real estate crash, the stock market crash. By the way, the United States government blamed me for causing that whole thing. Yeah, for real. For real.
Why?
Because I was that meaningful on Wall Street. That I created that whole thing. That's they blamed me for all the unemployment and the crash and these products that were sketchy and scammy that I never participated in because I already knew. But that's another story. That's part of my trauma. Today we're talking about your trauma and the healing that goes on as a result, because you use a lot of words and a lot of sort of concepts, etc. And I'm very impressed with your command of some language. I consider myself a little bit of a wordsmith. So you've studied this field, yes?
Yes, absolutely. I have a master's degree in this field. I started with applied behavioral analysis from bachelor's and then transitioned to clinical mental health. So that's been my life's journey, but that's not... Having a license is absolutely beautiful. I love to contribute to the population. However, sometimes things that I would like to employ go a little beyond what I can do as a therapist. So again, coming out with a book or hopefully a course in the near future will allow me to expand a little more on those things that maybe are frowned upon a little bit in mental health field. But I think it's important to at least have an idea on what is available and what we can offer, the world can offer as far as dealing with trauma. But what we know right now about EMDR, logotherapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, it's powerful when it comes to dealing with trauma. And that's, again, dealing with the system and taking us as a whole being. And that comes obviously from clinical mental health field. So I like to combine this unconventional methods, or at least provide some psychoeducation on that or explanation how that may assist you in your healing, while integrating the mental health, clinical mental health, evidence-based practices that serve as great tools for people who are on the healing journey.
I love your your phraseology. I mean, you're very good at putting the words together in a way, such a way that I get it. It's not word salad.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying meaningful things. You know what I'm saying?
I hope so.
Exactly. But no, I'm confirming that just so you know.
Thank
I
you.
get it. It's traditional medicine,
Mm-hmm.
the stuff they teach in schools today. It is what it is. I don't like to pass judgment on anything, but it's extremely limited, and it's because of things like the internet, social media, connectivity. Things are becoming revealed, and sort of the systems, the institutions that we've held, with such high regard for all these years.
Mm-hmm.
People are starting to see. It's like peeling an onion. They say, you're starting to see. There's a lot more to this story, and you have now all these, let's call them non-traditional
Mm-hmm.
ways that people heal and deal with trauma and disassociation and some of the things that you've mentioned today. I know that have changed me personally, but I did go to a psychiatrist for 7 years, just so you know.
Yeah.
Because I was very unsatisfied with my personal growth when I got clean and sober and changed my life and became sort of like a serious young man. And I just wanted more. And I wasn't getting it from the 12-step programs, AA. I got a lot. The greatest technology in the 20th century, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, you wrote a book. It's called Walking with Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell us all about that, because I cannot think of a better title. It's a great title. I say I'm not worthy. I want you to know that. I wish I thought of that.
Thank you. Well, this book was writing itself, so I know a lot of people like, I want to write a book. That was never on my agenda. Actually, in fact, I wanted to get somewhere. I always question why people are so drawn to be writing some book when they're not. We either write something to get validation, or either we write something to help others, because sometimes we write from the space of pain rather than overcoming the pain and making it to a certain point when we can say, okay, I've used this and that helped me, and that when I applied it, that worked. So I never thought that I wouldn't say worthy of writing a book, but I never felt like I was at the place where a book will bring any good. So actually the book was writing itself since 2016, when I started writing blogs about life. I was thinking a lot. I was healing my own trauma. I was going through, again, my education, getting education. So it was so many things that were going on in my life that are not pertaining to writing a book. And I was writing little blogs, just thoughts. And then I've noticed.
Were you posting them?
Yes, it was on social media, but
Facebook,
Instagram, all of that. It's actually, parts of this are still there.
I'm sure.
But then last year I decided to gather it all, because those captions were attached to certain pictures that I wanted to get rid of. Again, some from my.
I want to see those pictures.
Yes, it's just from my marriage, and again,
I get it.
Things of that nature that were a little old, and.
But you had those thoughts.
Yes.
And you had them posted, and that makes it so helpful, right, when you go back.
Yeah, I wanted to. I'm not a fan of when people say, and I understand right now it's the time of social media to be at the highest, and if you want to promote your business or promote your product, that's what you go. That's where you go. There's no way to escape social media. But writing it for the sake of writing it, and I know I like to be more self-aware about how a certain tendency can affect me and my patterns. And so when I feel anxiety about, oh my God, I didn't post anything this week, I'm like, okay, stop. I'm posting only when I feel I have something to say, when I feel there's value in what I want to say to others. Or again, sharing little bits of pieces from the life that I feel excited about and want to, expose to the public. But I also wanted to cleanse my social media because those were the posts with when I posted a picture, there's always something that goes with that, right? Any type of thought that I've kind of brewed with and I've thought about for a while. And last year, I've noticed, and I transitioned more to podcasts as well, which is probably right now more popular to people because not a lot of people read. At least blog posts, it takes a few seconds of the attention span right now to
It's crazy.
doom scrolling,
it's crazy.
Right?
Nobody reads anything if
Absolutely.
it's not
So
audiobooks are big now and
absolutely.
ebooks, but you
And
don't want to read.
I decided to take all of that and put it in one place so that I have a memory of this 2016 to 2025 as this little memorandum for others too, for myself and others. And I'm not very good at promoting it, to be honest, because it's just my baby. I never see anything that I do as far as contributing to society as a business, because the moment something for me becomes a business and I want to make money on it, it loses this sacredness, in my opinion, for myself personally.
I understand.
So for me, this baby is out there and I love that, but I'm not making too many steps forward and market it in the right way. I'm just doing what I feel drawn to and create in many different ways. And I've done a lot of different art projects and things of that nature that I transitioned from one place to another, so to say. So a book is another stepping stone, a milestone of my life that I like to share with others. I give a lot of them to my clients as well, just for them to have it. I like the gift process. I like to give people something.
You're a giving person.
I want to believe that, yeah. I do my best.
Are you empathetic? Would you call yourself an empath? Well, not so much.
I am, but I also, sometimes people think empaths have a lot of issues with tolerating emotions that come to them. And I'm not an empath in that way. I think if you're an empath, you get a manual to how to control that. So
interesting.
Using that with people, it's not a victim state, because a lot of people are claiming to be empaths as something that, oh my God, I can't control it. And this is so, that's not true. You have the power to control it and there are ways to do it. You gain something out of this place of being there. And again, trust me, I've been in a victim state myself. It's normal to be there. I think it's needed to be in that state for some time from whatever we are going through and whatever happens in our lives. But if we get stuck with it, that's when that becomes a problem. And we have to be very honest with ourselves about which direction we want to move next and whether we contribute or whether we rather benefit from the current state or being an empath and, oh my God, I'm so powerful and I'm so this, but I can't control it. It's so crazy that, I feel everybody. No, I don't take that as a, sorry.
I want you to know something. So, my little mischievous ways, I asked you that question just to see what your response would be. That's just who I am, just this, manipulative person. And wow. Yeah. Wow, did I get an answer. Very, you obviously, you went from taking ballet lessons as a little girl in the Soviet Union to friggin' dancing ballet to coming to America as a kid. 18, you're still a kid.
Okay.
Of course, when you think you're a full-grown woman and you know everything and this is what I'm doing, and it's funny how we look back, right?
Absolutely.
And I can tell you where you're at, and right now you think you know this and that, and forget it. You're still a child.
Absolutely.
But, your response to that, you dive deep. You're not a person that, has a superfluous knowledge of a few things and like to represent that you're more of an expert than you are. You are a considerable expert. Well, you've devoted the time and the brain power to try and understand, because this is a big thing out there. Everyone I meet, I'm an empath, and he took advantage of me, and I'm like, all right, stop it.
Yeah.
You're in control.
Yeah.
But walk with spirit. What does that mean? I want to understand, because everything else, I feel like just having met you, I'm a very, I'm an energy sensor. And I feel like you've been guided by some sort of inner spirit your whole life. I'm listening to your story and I can actually feel it. So tell us about that.
It's been soul searching since I was a little girl. And again, growing up in, and by the way, thank you for your kind words too. I forgot to mention that.
No worries.
But searching for the answers, I couldn't get it in organized religion. And I respect every and all religions out there. I think there is a lot of wisdom in it if we listen to the messages and not to point fingers on who said it. I think oftentimes we kind of cover ourselves up with that, but they said this and this is right.
Exactly.
And I think if we just listen to what it truly tries to communicate in any sacred scriptures, we will find much more wisdom and the experience of it rather than, again, we can have a knowledge, reading the books, the sacred scripts, and we can have a knowing of God. And I think that's the two different things. Like I always say, you can cite a Bible, but it doesn't mean that you experience God. Sometimes we have to find this, our own practice, and whatever ways we come to that practice that gives us that connection. And I've been seeking that connection for a very long time and feeling like I can sense into it, but yet not being able to reach it for a while until through the healing of my own life and the traumas that I've accumulated here as well in the United States. In 2017 as well, which was, again, I stopped that career, but also I went on a journey with the sacred medicine called ayahuasca. And that journey was lifelong till today for me. And that's something that gave me a lot of tools, right? Because ayahuasca is not a tool. It gives you tools to use, but whether you use it or not, it's up to you. But that connected me not only with my own religion in a different way, because I use the prayers from, again, Christianity. They're very powerful, and I've tested it in many different ways. And but also other practices that I combine to make it my own. And so finding the space after a long day working with, people who are struggling a lot, and again, having that empathetic connection with them, you have to recalibrate afterwards, and that self-care is everything. And
I just love what you said. You have to recalibrate.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just go out with my friends and we meet some people in bars or clubs, restaurants, and I have to recalibrate. When I get home, I swear I'm not kidding.
Absolutely.
I have to whoa, I gotta, that's a great word. I have to reset my because I'm into this whole thing I feel like I went on a journey for 3 hours. You know what I mean? Spiritually, it's and all of a sudden I'm like, get home, I'm like, listen, this is this is crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Say it again. Ayahuasca. So I've had Zappelin here. I don't know if you know Michael Zappelin.
Mm-hmm.
He took the girl from Michelle Rodriguez from the Fast and the Furious into the jungles, and on this journey with mushrooms and psilocybin and all these different things, Special K and Lamar, and they made movies, and it won the Amsterdam Film Festival.
I love it.
And he takes, he's a really spectacular guy. He's called the psychedelic concierge to the stars.
Interesting. Wow.
Yes, but I mean, you're the first person I've heard speak about this in such a fortuitous way. I mean, it changed you a little bit.
Absolutely. I've done a lot of ceremonies. I stopped counting at 100.
What? Really?
Yeah, it's been.
Now, is this mushroom? Are these mushrooms?
No, it's a brew. It's ayahuasca. It's a mix of two plants. One is the bark of a tree. Another one leaves that activate the DMT component. Again, it's not for everybody.
Activate the what? I'm saying again.
DMT. So it produces two of them.
What is DMT?
DMT, it's the psychedelic in itself. So you get a psychedelic trip.
So like psilocybin, like the mushroom.
Different. I can't do psilocybin ceremonies. They're killing me. That's something that microdose different way, and only sometimes.
When he was microdosing him, he was on him when he came in here.
I love it.
He was wearing sunglasses. We had an amazing time. I love this guy.
I love it.
Yeah. And he partnered with a friend of mine from the stock market, and they raised a bunch of money, and they're investing in other companies because they believe that's coming. That's coming. That is a non-traditional, but there's so much power in there and so much wisdom, so much insight. But if you're ready for that and if you're capable of doing that, because again, that's not for everybody. No.
And I can't stand really when people on social media or people in the spiritual community. I love spirituality and I practice it, but I don't see rainbows and unicorns everywhere. Okay, there is a real life that in this body is as real as our spirit. So I know this is not the nature of who we are, right? These bodies are not. But at the same time, they are an integral part and component of this life we're living. And so we got to take care of that as well. And not only, I know highly spiritual people who can't pay their taxes, and I know business people who make a lot of money who are not able to live a happy life. Right?
They're unhappy.
Yeah.
I understand this. I thank you. Thank you for your insights. That's really impressed. I'm impressed, and I get it. But you've led journeys. You said so. You have clients. Let's say someone can hire you.
No.
Let's just say, oh no, okay.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, I did help out in the past with ceremonies, and that was a profound help as a.
But you do that in Florida, or do you have to go to like Costa Rica or
It used to
Peru?
be in Florida, but we also had shaman coming, and so I studied shamanic practice, and I had my teachers as well who taught me a lot about this medicine, and it just became a journey. It's not for everybody, so it's not the only solution for the problems we have, right? But at the same time, it can be a powerful experience if anybody is looking for a deeper understanding of life.
So how does somebody like me
say,
I would like to experience this type of a thing? Can you help me?
I can direct you in the right way, and I can provide all the psychoeducation on this as well. And I'm saying that again, people
all
question.
The psychoeducation.
Well, in general, just more information on
right. So I can understand what I'm getting into if I do it.
Absolutely, you have to have proper intention, because some people are going, well, I want to experience that, or I want to have mystical experience. This is an awful intention to go into. We're not drinking or taking cold medicine if we don't have a cold, right? So the same happens for the sacred medicine. We're not taking it if we don't have a problem. And if we have something we're not able to break. And again, you can do a lot of therapy and this and that if you want that leap forward. If you're really struggling with some past issues that you have difficulties navigating, that can be the answer. That can be something where you can get a proper insight internally for yourself, because it's not related to anybody else telling you anything or guiding you. Your experience will be your own. Out of all of my ceremonies, I've never had the same experience. Ever. It's always a different thing.
During one of these ceremonies, is it just you, the shaman, and one other person, or is it a group of people? I mean,
usually it depends. You can have more private experiences, you can have more group experiences, but again, it's something that's outside of the clinical field, so to say, and it can be a tool that will give you other tools, to proceed with. But at the same time, a lot of people go in and they feel the change right after the ceremony.
Right.
But the magic doesn't happen in ceremony, even though sometimes it does, right? People heal themselves in ways that are beyond understanding. But at the same time, the integration moving forth, that's the most important part. Because I can get whatever insight I have, but then coming back home to the same triggers, the same parents, the same boss, traffic. We all know Miami traffic, right?
Oh, it's
Florida.
Horrible.
And
I was there Saturday.
You have a choice. You can either follow the new way with the insights you receive, or, because we're free to choose, right? Freedom of choice. That's where it is. That's where it lies. Or you can go back to your behaviors. And a lot of people choose going back because that's the comfort, even though it's unhealthy or dysfunctional in certain ways, but that's a comfort zone. So integration is everything from any practices, whether it's just a prayer you're doing or a sound healing or a therapy, because I'm very big on, for me, in my therapy practice, homework is required.
There's homework?
Homework is required. There's no other way you're going to get the skills, because everything we do, therapy for me is not just a treatment, right? People go into treatment, let's say. I worked in rehab as well. That's not about that. We're changing lifestyle. Just like if I decide, you know what, I'm tired to be overweight, I want to go and get better body, right? So what do? We're not going for 3 months, completing that, seeing the results, say, okay, I'm good from now on.
Well, with the new drugs they're giving, everybody's losing weight, but I get it. I know.
Yeah.
I get it, though.
Well, it's going to be a short-term kind of effect.
It's a fix. Everybody wants to fix it. That's the world we live in today.
Then you're going to slide right back in, because you can't sustain yourself being on this medication for a long period of time.
Potentially. But it's a tool, just like we're talking about tools, right?
Yeah.
So these non-traditional tools, which I have a great deal of belief in. I do. I was taking psychedelics in the 70s.
How was it?
It changed my life.
I love it.
It did change my life.
Yeah.
I did acid and mescaline and those things.
Yeah.
For 1 year straight, for a whole year of my life.
So what did you learn from that for yourself?
I learned that there's a lot more to this universe than is obvious. And but I was young. I was a kid. I was very angry. And my father had passed away very suddenly, had a very traumatic effect, and I responded very badly. So in my study of the psyche and trauma, etc., I reacted very badly. I was very angry, and I just wanted to get out of myself. I couldn't stand the pain too much. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm permanently damaged. Like that, just like when you talk about a broken heart, that broke my heart. And it's like impossible for me to allow access to that because I'm, so protective.
Absolutely.
That killed me. The guy that existed before that is dead. I've heard women share, that they were raped. They had a real rape, not a, I don't want to say not a, it's all bad, but a rape that was reasonably violent, whatever. They were completely helpless and powerless. And they've had a lot of therapy and a lot of time passed and all these different things, but they acknowledge that they're permanently changed. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, but it depends how we look at it as well. Because
Correct.
change is the only constant we have, and I think we're always becoming.
Right. Growth is change.
And I think if we look at that there is after every trauma, no matter what that is, it doesn't matter. And that's what I'm always emphasizing with people. Yes, it's awful, but we have to understand that everything that happens in our lives, we can get out of there much more powerful, empowered, with new set of beliefs. Yes, you're not going to be the same, but that's the idea. We're not looking back. And sometimes I think people look back and proudly say, well, I'm the same as I was 10 years ago. Why are you proud of that?
Right.
The idea is to change.
That's an embarrassment.
Absolutely. The idea is to change.
I'm changing every day. I grow every day.
Absolutely.
And I learn from everybody. I'm learning a ton from you right now.
Yeah. We're not looking back and say, well, I was so happy I grew so much. No, we're saying going through some, sorry, my language, shit show. And we'll look at it and say, wow, that changed me forever. But for the better.
Okay.
We have to find something because there's a mission and purpose at the end of that tunnel if we have experience like that. And there is a sacred gift that we have to unravel, open up after we get to surpass that. And yeah, navigating with a lot of different tools. That's why we have to look at ourselves as a it's a comprehensive view. We have so many parts to ourselves. And yeah, we go for therapy to treat mind. We go to the doctor to get some meds. We go to church or temple to take care of our spiritual needs. You're one system. You can take care of all of this within yourself and navigating that through different tools. Yes, it's going to be change of a lifestyle per se, but that's the idea. You're changing with how you're changing your behaviors, daily rituals, practices, and understanding
routine.
of the past.
The big thing is everybody falls back to the same routine. You got to change your routine.
Yes. And stay consistent with it.
Yeah, that's the secret, really.
Yeah.
That's one of the secrets. Like you say, you experience and you learn, but if you don't utilize the change, you just fall back into the same patterns. In other words, you use that have huge meaning. So you've experienced trauma, and as an 18-year-old little girl from the Soviet Union, a dancer, you decide to come to Miami. You had a friend, or you're with a friend, and you get an apartment.
Yes. It was a person that I found online, and he actually had something to rent. And so we stayed for a little bit in Sunny Isles for 3 days, and then we rented a place from him in Hallandale.
You had a few dollars put away?
I had about $2,000 that I came with.
$2,000?
Yeah, that was, I think, all for me.
No rubles? I'm playing. I'm just
joking. No. Thank God I changed that for dollars, because otherwise I wouldn't have made it here.
They keep devaluing the damn ruble. I mean,
Yeah.
So you're in Sunny Isles. Have you ever been to America before?
No, that was my first time, and I knew I was leaving.
And you were like, oh my gosh, right? You're like,
that was,
oh my gosh.
That was incredible. I was like, what's going on with the buildings, the pool?
Miami.
Oh my God,
I grew up on Long Island in New York in a nice neighborhood on the beach, in a great area, right in New York City. And when I used to come to Miami, I was like, what?
So you can imagine my
gorgeous
surprise.
Is Miami. I was there I live a few miles from here in Boca, but I went to see somebody and do some things on Saturday, and I was like, "Holy Christ, Miami's it's like what?
Magic land, yeah.
It is magic land. It's all dangerous. It's all how you choose to experience it. Exactly. As a single man, I experienced things, and then as a married man with family, I just saw a whole different thing. And what I learned in my experience, you asked me before, if you're looking for good, you're going to find good.
Yeah.
If you're looking for bad, you're going to find bad. That's the secret
Yes.
of life in an odd way. So I spent a lot of years looking for bad. I did. I wanted to play and experience everything and all these different things. I like to say, this is your life. This is not a dress rehearsal.
No.
You don't get to do it again, right?
Yeah.
My biggest fear was that I was going to sit back one day in like a rocking chair in some shitty little house in some shitty little neighborhood saying, I should have done this. I would have, could have, should have. No, not me.
Yeah.
I'm the star of my life. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking make it happen. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
I will not go quietly into that good night.
Don't die with your music still inside.
I love that. I never heard that one.
It's a quote. Don't remember who said it.
So you feel all these different things I just shared. You feel that way, right?
Absolutely. The thing is that sometimes what you're mentioning about, number one, what we focus on expands. But sometimes our focus is not a conscious choice. And that's, again, how the trauma can impact how we perceive the world.
Well, that's what happened to me. It was the trauma. I was a kid. I didn't even know I had a choice.
Absolutely.
I just reacted,
But when we know better, we got to do better. And that comes,
we know better, we have to do better.
And that comes with that. I always talk about 3 stages.
Tell us.
To get to the point where it's time to really shift your ways, right? First is self-awareness, because what we don't know, we don't know.
Correct.
The moment we begin to be aware of that, understanding, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be drinking that much. Well, I used to drink a lot. And so for now, it's almost 3 years sober for me. So.
For you?
Yeah. Yeah, I've
Congratulations.
had multiple episodes. Yeah, I don't. It's
what was
not
your
my
drug
thing.
of choice? Alcohol?
No, I do. I have medical marijuana card, so that's something that I do for sleep.
Okay.
So that's a way for me. Again, my sleep was never.
No
good.
more?
No, I do that sometimes.
Oh, now you do. Okay.
Alcohol, not for me.
No more alcohol. You say.
No more.
Because
No,
Russians
I can't
drink.
do that.
Russian can drink.
I know. So it's surprising, right? Yes, but
That's
no.
all they do. It's like their national sport.
It's a tricky thing, and alcohol, they call it spirits for a reason, right? So anything you ingest, there's a spirit attached to it, and I used to be best friends with that spirit, and I refuse. That friendship is not good for me.
What was your drink of choice?
Lychee martini.
Goodness me.
That was
The
so long
espresso
ago.
martini is quite interesting.
Yes. That's
quite...
been a long time, so now I don't even. But
lychee martini.
It's nice to be outside of that. But so self-awareness first, right? Is becoming aware of your patterns. Then willingness. What do we want to do about it? Do we want to change, or want to keep it where we are, right? The patterns are. And then the third one, when we make a decision, say, okay, I really want to do something about it. And then the third one is being ready to change, because not everybody is ready yet. And sometimes I see people in rehab, that was a very prominent thing, right? When you get people who are not ready yet, they either
I've been to rehab.
Trapped in a cycle.
I did a 28-day program.
It's rough, and some people are there for longer. Some people have continuously coming back for treatment as well.
That's a crazy thing, yeah.
Which is awful, and that was a very draining place for me, because again.
Did you work in the rehab?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I put a lot, I put everything into this work. For me, it's service. I'm consecrated to God in my own way. So for me, that's providing that service is everything to people. It doesn't matter where I am. I always try to, again,
help,
be available.
Serve others.
Yes. And now I'm learning to balance protecting my energy versus giving, because I don't think I've had that.
Yeah.
And so last year taught me a lot about learning to discern where do I
step back sometimes.
Absolutely.
I get it.
And it's a balance that's hard for me, because I tend to overextend myself, and I used to have people-pleasing tendencies. And I always say all of our tendencies that we work on, even though they can be in the past, they're going to be right there in our shadow. We have a shadow right there as we're humans. And if we say, well, I've healed that's not a problem anymore, that's the time the trauma begin to show up, or not trauma, sorry, our patterns begin to show up and affect us without us noticing it. It's very tricky. But again, navigating that, if we're ready to change, we can do it. It's just be always mindful. That's why in AA and NA, right, we always say, a name, I'm Alisa, I'm alcoholic or whatever, because we need to make sure we remember our tendency of that, and that we can always fall back into where we were.
Right.
And so even though I think people can heal, they don't have to use it, but I think it's a good reminder. And the philosophy behind it is very conscious, because we need to understand that our tendencies can impact us at any point down the line.
My name is Ross, and I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And I'm an addict.
Yeah.
I am, and I love the way you're phrasing all this, and it means a lot. I got sober in 1990, and after a 17-year run.
Mm-hmm.
But this is your story today. And
It's our story today.
It is our story. You're right. It's great. Thank you. Thank you. Walking with spirit. I love that. So God is something that's present in your life all the time.
I want to believe that, yes.
There's no question. I'm challenging you almost. I'm asking you.
Yeah.
You know, God is inside us. That's the thing. Everyone's always looking for God. He's right here. You know, that's why we say it's an inside job. What does that mean?
Yeah. Happiness is a skill. Joy is a skill. Peace is a skill. Spirituality is a skill. We have to connect to it daily, just like we do with brushing your teeth.
It's like hygiene. I say,
Absolutely.
Did you brush your teeth yesterday? Yeah. Did you brush your teeth today? Yeah. Why?
What about?
Because we have built-in forgetters.
Absolutely. And what we don't see, especially, it's easy. This we can see, so if we look at ourselves in the mirror, like, oh my God, I have to brush my hair. But did I sit down and pray? Did I meditate? Did I do all of that for me to connect? And sometimes we decide to bypass it, the spiritual bypass, moving right next to it and not stopping to say how grateful we are to connect on the good days, especially, because we forget things are great. Yeah, I've got it. No, you didn't get it. You've been given that by the divine source that is always looking after you. And I think
it's a loan.
Yeah.
It's a 24-hour loan. Now, one thing I noticed when, you know, as we've been talking, a lot of your movements are from ballet. I see the way you cross your legs, when you make a point. I'm very conscious and aware of your physical presence and, you know, verbal communication is just a small fraction of real communication.
Absolutely.
But a lot of the things about you are almost practiced. Refined is a better word, because you have a grace that is I understand now your training. I didn't know that. I didn't see it. My team didn't pick that up, but I get it now, and I thank you for sharing all that. But one thing I noticed, you have like a tattoo or something on your wrist, and we discussed that. So, you know, tell us about these tattoos and what point of your life did you get this? Because I'm still want to go back to this 18-year-old girl in Sunny Isles, moving into like the Russian community.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating, you know. You have a great story, you know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been my story.
It's a journey.
It's a journey, and I've got more traumas after that. And again, I think we're always going to get those experiences that will shake us up. But yes, my tattoos have been with me since I moved, because obviously, you know, when I was back home, that was not.
No tattoos in Russia? No. Tell me, I don't know. There's no tattoo parlors in Russia?
The only thing I did was a piercing in my tongue, and I was so scared to tell my mom. I think I was 13 or 14, and so I came to her. She never yelled.
You had a piercing in your tongue when you were 13 in Russia?
Yeah.
No more?
No. It fell out once, and I'm like, I think it's time to go. I have a lot of tattoos, though, so that's something that...
What does that mean to you, and why? Tell me.
Reminders of... one is a phoenix. I have a wolf, Om connection with the source. I have a very big snake on my back, again, resembling... It's from shamanic practice, actually. I think snakes are misunderstood, especially from religious stance. But yes, they're actually shedding the skin and renewal on all the levels, rebirth.
Yeah, I love that.
Rebirth, and so that's in shamanic practice is one of the major
these
themes.
Tattoos, though, were pre-sobriety?
No, there's one after, but again, back in the day, I could monitor the consumption because I was always working. So for me, that was not I would make it to work no matter how I feel.
And Tatiana's, though, they were drinking.
That was rough, yeah. And I went on a year and a half over there also for sobriety too, and that took me out of any social groups. So it was rough.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
I used to go to some of the Russian places in New York and Brooklyn, and it was like
They had Tatiana there too.
I was there, I'm telling you.
Nice.
I've been there. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
I've had many engagements with that kind of Russian brotherhood, if you will.
Right.
And they love me, by the way.
I'm sure.
And I'm an alcoholic. Back in those days, I could drink a bottle of vodka, bottle, and that's nothing compared to these guys. I mean, and half the women. I'll never forget my friend once said to me, I was going to meet a young girl I really had a crush on. And my friend said, Russian? I said, yeah. And you going where? At this place in Brooklyn. We lived in New York City. I lived in Manhattan, you know. And he says, don't be careful. I said, what do you mean? She's going to start drinking. She's gonna bury you. And I'm like, Are you crazy? That's before Uber and all cell phones. They're like, what? My friends are worried about me.
Of course.
And I went out and I drank with her. And I would love to tell you the rest of the story, but I blacked out, I'm pretty sure, because I don't remember anything. I could
So
tell you her name.
You had fun.
I'm told I had a great time.
Okay, good.
I'm told I was one of the most fun guys, and I sort of remember. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yes, it's like a thing in many of these sort of cold weather countries. And, people drink because they can, and they can't do a lot of other things. Now in Miami, you could do everything. You could play pickleball. You could run on the beach.
Yeah.
Anything you can do. You're a good-looking woman. I mean, it must have been wild for you when you got to Miami. The attention you were getting, and
I was more busy trying to get a job and having an awful situation because I came with the visa J1 for students.
oh boy, the visa thing. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I was staying past that. And so the situation turned out to be rough with my employer at the time. He fired me the day off my visa was expired. He called the store. He was from Israel. Awful man. Awful man. And I was a virgin at that time. I was very innocent in that way, even though
Say that again. You were a virgin?
I was a virgin when I moved here. So
When you say virgin, you're talking
like I
about,
didn't have no intimacy yet, no boyfriend, no serious
you're talking
relationship.
about legitimate virgin,
Yes.
sexual.
Yes. And
What?
so this
18?
boss, and this boss called me afterwards. He's like, let's go for a dinner. And I was like, he fired me already. For me, I was like, what's going on?
Right.
He got me to a place, thank God, not too far from my house. And he's telling me, it's like, well, you can get your job back. You can get your papers, but you know the way, you know what you have to do. And look at me, down and up. And I was like, I'm fucking leaving. So I just walked. That disgusted me beyond my understanding. I'm like, that people can take such advantage of others. And he was trying to call me, saying he will call immigration on me because of...
Threatening you?
Yeah.
And you were a virgin?
Yeah.
For real?
For me, that was
just
awful.
shocked.
Yes, that was an awful, awful experience. So
I can't, what a terrible thing.
he was disgusting.
So how long after you got here did that happen?
It was the same 2008 because the visa was for about 4 months, and then I proceeded on working on my papers. So then
what do you do? I mean, this is crazy.
I was fortunate enough to have someone who gave me a job. It was at a food court in Aventura Mall that doesn't exist anymore.
Good mall, though. It was a great mall.
Yeah, it was a great mall, and it was very little money that I was having. Like it was $6 per hour that I was making. No tips, no nothing, and that was just difficult. It was a lot of labor, and
at least you had a job. I hate to say it because
oh my God, I always had a job in my life. Like I can't go without it. I had 2 to 3 usually. At that point, I was just one because I was trying to understand what's going on, and then I found Tatiana as well. The family work with
they
dancing.
sort of looked after you.
Well, it was fulfilling for me because working in the food court, it was difficult.
I don't know what it's like. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I'm shocked to even hear these words, but I get it.
Yeah. And
I forget what it's like. I get it.
Yeah. Then I began to, again, work on my papers, started changing jobs. I always tried to, I could never stop for me. And again, that maybe comes from not being enough. So I always strive for something better, which works well in certain ways and then in certain, maybe not so much.
Did you feel less than? At times in your life? I mean, this is how I'm picking it up.
I think I'm always feeling less than in certain ways. And because again, if we look at ourselves as the whole system, we have so many different parts that have been developed.
Right. I get it.
When we get trauma and also protective mechanism, just like you said, it's hard to get to that spot within yourself. Correct. Because you have a protector, something that comes up and it's not allowing you to go in because it took so much of energy for you to cover that up and close it, to not feel it anymore.
I don't even try and feel.
Understandable, yeah.
I'm being candid with you. And, if I meet somebody and I get these feelings, I become very uncomfortable. And I'm like a guy that can handle pretty much anything.
Yeah.
I'm like accomplished in all these different things. And I've been to prison and I've known the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. But I realized now, it took me a lifetime to realize that what's going on. Mm-hmm. Because I'm so busy all the time, I don't take time to feel, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
To connect. And it's one thing to connect to the source, as you said earlier, which I love that, that verbiage. But there are walls inside walls, and you don't always know they're even there.
Absolutely. Because again, it's a part of ourselves still, but if we blend it with that part, that becomes a problem.
Right, it's permanent. Like,
Yeah,
I get it.
whether it's the wounded one or the protector one, right? Because we can blend with all different parts that we have, and then we have so many. And so some parts of me are maybe we're able to kind of increase that self-awareness and self-confidence in certain ways because I know I can do a good job. I know what I can be capable of, but yet underlying thing, the wounded part is the one that's it's never going to be enough. And so I always strive for something. That's what stopped me from going for PhD because I was working on my bachelor's and I said, okay, that's going to be a big achievement. That's great. I'm accomplishing that. I'm like, no, that's not enough. Okay, I'm going to go for master's. So I went, I'm like, well, that's definitely big. I'm finishing that. I'm like, no, that's not enough. I'm like, I need to go for PhD. And then I said, okay, stop. Because I know the end of this and it's going to be 10 years of my life. It's going to be a lot in student loans and, I've paid off all of mine.
Such
so
a scam, but
I'm like, and you
it
can
is an
still
accomplishment.
grow. Absolutely. But it's not, I'm going for that from the wrong reason.
100%.
If it would be for the purpose, okay, I want to do this. This is going to be amazing. I want to get somewhere where I feel different, and it's not going to change.
No, you're going to be able to, now what's next?
Right.
You keep looking for higher mountains to climb.
And I still study every week. I study something because for me that's a way of life. For me, happiness is progress, like Tony Robbins says. So I love that.
So I have to ask you a few things because you opened the door. I'm like, fascinated. Did you ever get your papers? Did you ever get?
Yeah, I'm a citizen now, thankfully.
Good for you. I feel like shaking your hand.
Took many years. I'm very grateful.
I'm proud of you.
I'm grateful for being in this country and being able to have what I have and grow myself from nothing to something that I am right now, which is for me took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
With a bilingual parrot. And a dachshund that you just love. The two of you against the world, really.
Oh.
But I mean, and an old Pomeranian. I listen, and it's a beautiful story, And then I have to ask about this virgin thing because there's almost no such thing as an 18-year-old virgin. Yeah. I felt like the whole world stopped when you said that. I mean that because, I hate to say it, but so much of especially when you're a young woman, was a young man, so much of your life, your being is centered around the sexual thing, because that first experience is either something or it's a disappointment, it's nothing.
Yeah.
But that opens a door because you think but until you actually go, have sex, it's a whole nother story. And now it's a whole nother, that's a journey unto itself.
Absolutely.
But, it's, they talk, I've had this conversation with somebody very recently about women, about beautiful women, about everything that ever happened in this world began with a beautiful woman. The Trojan War, the Iliad, the story by Homer. He steals Helen, and that starts a 1,000-year war. She was she had a face that was beautiful, etc. I mean, if you saw The Social Network, Mark Zuckerberg's story, Facebook, that was all created because he wanted to impress some woman that basically, turned her back on him.
Yeah.
And that's for me. I understand that as a man, and I understood it as a boy how important that was. But I also know a lot of women. Women are very different, and I don't profess to know, but I know enough. So, you fell in love with some guy, or was it just a drunken escapade, or it's.
Yeah, that wasn't a fun story either. But again, speaking of why I was that way, I feel like throughout my whole entire life from a very young age, and again, I've learned through doing my EMDR on me, the moment where that hopelessness began, because I was very hopeless as a child. And for me, there was no way out of life at all. I was not a happy child. And I always felt very disconnected from others. I never had social groups that I would feel belonging. No. I was, some of the best friends, girlfriends that I've had always betrayed me. And then when I was here already, they would apologize to me for that. And I'm like, I don't hold any grudge. But I think on a deeper level or on a higher stance and like that higher consciousness, I think it was meant to be in that way. So I don't have any attachment from transitioning from one country to another. I think it was a purpose of my soul, that soul created in a way.
It's a big move.
It was a big move.
18, and you're still pretty naive, I hate to say it.
Yeah, very,
And then all of a
very.
sudden you're like in another country, and you pick Miami. By the way, great. I have to say, you have the source cares for you. You could have went to like Ohio. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Ohio is horrible.
Yeah, no,
Sorry, Ohioans, because I know a lot of you, but I mean that's like, oh gosh, man. I've been all around this country,
yeah,
and it's an amazing country. It's much more vast than people know, and like you could have been in Arkansas.
yeah, I could have been
You know what
anywhere.
I'm saying?
Yeah, I got a tip from one of my ballet trainers, and she went for as well to work as a student, and she said you got to go to
It's
Miami, like
freaking
you're there.
Miami's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
Even if you're from a big city,
Oh
it's
no,
like
that
what
was
the.
that was
I was
yeah.
just there Saturday, and I was like, I parked the car and I just Ubered. But I'm just saying, wow, it hasn't lost a step. It's really like freaking wild,
Yeah.
and I can't imagine a little girl from Russia.
Yeah.
You must have been like, what the fuck?
It was
I'm not leaving. When your
insane.
friend said I'm going back, I'm not going.
Yeah, but I didn't know what's gonna be happening to me along the
And there was a
path,
lot of
and
trauma
so
then when you came in, right? That from 18 to let's say
adjustment.
21, 22.
Yeah, so my first relationship around 20, that was my first boyfriend, and that was very abusive, extremely.
In
And
what
when you
way?
don't
In what
know,
way?
I was raped. He beat me. There was all sorts of
He was your
verbal,
boyfriend, but yet
emotional.
you're saying he raped you.
Yeah.
He took
He,
you when you didn't
um,
want that.
it was a situation with trying new things, and again, I was very shy in that area. I mean, clearly,
I
I
get
never
it.
had
I
an
get it.
exposure,
Yeah,
so for
yeah.
me, that was already too much. And there were so many red flags that I didn't see. I mean, I saw but ignored.
I understand
So, but that
100%.
was a learning experience. And so when once he decided to try handcuffs, and unfortunately that it didn't end well for me. And so, but that experience for me is so far, again, it's
I
been
understand.
repressed in
Okay, so the trauma
its
wasn't
part.
just a little girl growing up in Russia. I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it, right? Um, so the trauma that you experienced as a young girl, okay, and you really described it beautifully. It was a painful childhood. I mean,
Internal pain, yeah.
but pain is pain. I'm not
Yeah,
challenging. I don't judge pain. I know we all had different
yeah,
levels of discomfort, pain, etc. But then you had painful situations as a young woman in
yeah,
this country
yeah,
with a man of all things. So that causes trust issues and a million. It opens the door to a lot of stuff. So you've really worked on yourself.
yeah,
That explains to me the woman that's sitting in front of me. I have a lot of experience in life and with people. I love people. I just love the whole journey.
yeah.
I have an appetite for it. Even when it's painful,
Hmm.
even when it's bad. It's just every day I'm learning. I feel like God is educating me. God is seeing you through my eyes. He's seeing the world through my eyes. I have a
Hmm.
unique set of eyes, just like we all do.
Yeah,
But that's how I just feel. You know what I'm saying? And you can help. You have the ability to help so many people. You understand that you change worlds really because you've been tested. God gives his greatest warriors the biggest challenges. And the way you
yeah,
expressed your loneliness as a child, betrayal of girlfriends, literally changing continents as a naive little girl. But you weren't so naive. You were very familiar with things like pain and discomfort and being alone, right?
yeah,
You expressed that beautifully.
yeah.
And today you're an accomplished woman. You were extremely well put together. Man, I would love to see those tattoos. I gotta say, I would have said you don't have any tattoos.
These ones are easy. The rest I will have to like take a lot of clothes off. So
Listen, I'm not gonna argue with you. But I'm just saying that gives me it fills in the picture a little bit because it, I hate to say the more here, the more pain. If you're open and you say no, this is my life. I'm not going to take this. I'm going to figure this shit out.
yeah,
it just gives you the ability to grow so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And for young women or men that come to you and that even the sobriety thing. I mean, the fact that you have that. I mean, there's no better education, in my opinion, in the mental health arena than the 12-step programs.
Yes.
That is a gift. Yeah. What a gift that is. And we don't know how fucked up we are. I tell a story about somebody who was very close to me and knows all my stories for years and years and wanted to come to a meeting. It's a nice kid, nice woman. Didn't have a shelter life, was, normal sort of stuff. She came to the meeting, and about 15 minutes in the meeting, she started crying and ran out. She said, "Oh, these poor people, I can't take it, I can't take it." So a normal person that goes into that environment can't even believe what's going on in there. They can't believe, couldn't make it through. All the women from the program ran out into the parking lot to hold her, and she couldn't take it. Yeah. Then she came back in, and then one more guy shared, and she had to leave. She couldn't come back. She goes, "I don't know how you can stand. How can you stand?" She's really an empathetic person, but we need to hear what these people say.
Yes,
we need to hear what these people say. These horrific stories of abuse, of pain, of suffering, tortured souls, sharing openly. But to a healthy person, they can't take it.
No.
So that was a very interesting thing for me to experience. I was like, it wasn't even a hard story. There was nothing even, particularly difficult. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as a therapist, you have really stepped up to the other side now. You've been through it.
Yes. And so maybe that's why, and I've lived it, and I've lived the recovery from those experiences as well. So I believe that there is a great, just like we spoke about, different types of verbal, nonverbal communication, but also every word has an energy. And if we say something and it doesn't have this kind of feel to it, when the person just saying it because, again, citing a Bible rather than, sharing experience of God, that is felt to other people. And I truly hope, and I've heard some of the feedback from more people I work with, they say that I understand them to the level that nobody else could have. And again, I will never be able to understand 100% of what anybody is feeling. No one can. When people say, "I understand completely," no, you don't. Nobody can understand us completely but ourselves, because we all have different upbringing, different sensitivity level. All of these traits that we have is very different from one another. So we can't fully understand it, but we can try, because we have this capacity of imagining things, right? If we are attentive to clients or to other people, anybody we're talking with, we can live 1,000 lives from connecting with other people.
We have lived 1,000 lives, just so you know.
That's part of it, yes.
I want you to know that.
Oh,
I
know my past life before this one, before being Alisa. So, yeah, I've had that experience too. Totally different story though. But the ability to relive with someone else in front of us this powerful story, whether it's trauma or resiliency of moving away from that. I think there's so much insight and so much wisdom in everybody else's, the stories they share. And if we just begin to be more attuned to that and allow ourselves to learn from that rather than trying to correct it, how a lot of people are trying to give advice, just sitting back. And I've had a lot of learning to do with that part as well, to sit back and just trying to relive it together with that human that maybe relieves some of their pain, some of their struggle, and somebody just listening without trying to fix it. But it's an incredible capacity to relive someone else's life with them together. So I think it's powerful enough, and that can be another therapeutic experience for anybody, whether it's they're in therapy or just friends sharing.
I'm going to ask you some questions, if it's okay.
Yeah.
You were a young girl. You were in Miami. You were with a guy, your boyfriend. You have this bad experience. Probably many bad experiences. You didn't even really understand it, but you started to feel uncomfortable and some shit was going on, right? And so you have like this, it's trauma. That's a great word. I mean, and you talked about the big T's and the small T's. I never heard that before. And I thank you for that. I digest things and then I replay them 1,000 times in my head. So I'm going to be reliving this conversation with you for a long time. So, I want you to know I'm a trauma specialist. I'm on the receiving end all the time. I go through a lot of trauma. From what I also understand, I dish out a lot of trauma, but that's just, my nature. So how do you trust again? I mean, here it is. I just want to say you're like this attractive woman. You come from the Soviet Union. You struggle, you get a job, and you're a virgin. I would never say that. I would never guess it, but it's such a descriptive word. And this guy is he's blackmailing you for sex, really. Okay, so that's an experience. And now you finally have a boyfriend. I don't know how many in between or what happened. That's not my business. And now you have this. You've given yourself to a guy.
Yeah.
You've opened yourself up, and all of a sudden, the guy takes advantage.
Yeah.
And I don't even know the whole deal, but I just know it was a big T, in my opinion.
Yes.
How does a woman? Because listen to me. I've heard stories from other women, and I'm on social media, and I read a lot, and I'm a guy, and I went to prison. I hear stories that you wouldn't friggin' believe. I'm just going to say, how does a woman recover from that and heal herself?
For a long time.
It takes time.
He was the one who broke up with me. Yeah. And we were actually engaged for a month at that point. And he broke up with me. That was the greatest blessing for a woman who actually was another woman that took him out of this relationship. I'm so grateful to her now. But back in the day, that was devastating. I actually didn't want to live. And that was the time when me and my mom got close, because after we were very close when I was very little, and I remember that connection. And then because my mom had to navigate an awful situation with my dad and trying to,
poor mom, I hate to say it.
She went through a lot.
I felt your mom's pain when you were telling that story.
She went through a lot. And
still, what a blessing her daughter is now.
I hope so. I don't know. I don't think I'm doing enough. I know I'm losing my composure sometimes. I'm working on it though.
It's okay. No, don't worry about your composure.
So, but yeah, I'm doing my best that I can for her because I love her very much. Yeah.
I have daughters. I have children. And so I understand the connection between a mom and a daughter. They talk 5 times a day and they're already grown up. You understand? It doesn't stop. And I'm not supposed to talk about personal things.
Why not?
It's, I'm under house arrest,
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, so you have this experience. The man that is abusing you, he actually breaks up with you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, what? I mean,
I was suicidal. Like, I didn't want to live. That was an awful.
So you were suicidal in an odd way.
I had suicidal ideations since I was a teenager, but I didn't know what it was related to, and that's to my hormones as well. So I've had a package of my life growing up and nobody talked about it. Again, back in Russia, that was not a thing. Mental health was not a thing.
Interested in all these things.
My mom never experienced that, so for her, it's very hard to relate as well. And I didn't know what was going on.
Suck it up.
I only began to learn about PMDD, or again, general PMS or hormonal changes, at my 22 or 23 years old, when I was already getting education. So for me, it was very difficult to navigate. I have 1 week and a half of good time a month.
Well, then that's good.
And I'm enjoying that very much. When I have my internal world is all put together, it's like one week and a half, but I take advantage of it.
My stepfather used to say, she used to complain to me about my mother. And she goes, she's premenstrual, she's menstrual, and she's postmenstrual. I got 1 week a month.
Exactly.
That's what he used to say to me. That's how I know that.
See, that's the truth. And some of people
I was educated that by a
yeah.
lunatic Viennese millionaire drug dealer. But so you can get through these things.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
You can. You're living proof. See, some people have no hope.
Yeah.
See, to me, I'm convinced that's why people take their own lives.
Yeah.
You can live without love. You can live without success, without money, without a partner. You can't live without hope.
You can live without hope.
Hope.
You can't live without faith.
But it's the same thing almost.
But
if
hope,
you have faith, you have hope.
I was hopeless, and I was able to stay true just because there's something in there that made me just want to try to take that one extra step. and then one extra step, one day at a time, as we say, right?
I've begged God I don't want to wake up the next morning.
Right.
I begged God. And I thought that wasn't so unusual. I thought many people felt that way, and I've come to learn that no, not many people. People look at me like I'm talking Chinese. I said, "You mean you never ever like prayed to God that you wouldn't wake up in the morning?" And they said, "No, never." Like I've shared this with a group of men, and like people think I'm a lunatic, and I have many times in my life I don't have the courage to do anything about it, but I have, lived a life where it's shocking that I'm here. It's all God.
Yeah.
It's all God. It's by the power of God. This meeting happened.
Yes.
This was organized 1,000 years before we were ever born. You know that?
I agree.
You agree with that?
Absolutely. Sacred contracts.
People don't understand what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Absolutely.
You understand, right?
Absolutely.
We're on the same wavelength.
We all have sacred contracts, and especially with certain people, that change everything, I think, in many different ways. It doesn't mean that it's something in the material form, but energetic form. There's a sense of completion about certain experiences.
I feel like I know you.
I know. I have the same feel.
I just met you.
Yeah.
Do you know that? Yeah. I have a level of comfort and familiarity. It's nuts. John thinks I'm a lunatic right now. He's very normal. John is very normal.
I don't think anybody's normal, but relatively normal.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's great. What would you say to someone now who's listening to this podcast that feels disconnected?
Keep searching. When you feel like you've tried it all, you haven't. Just keep digging. There are options, there are ways, even those that may be shaking you up internally. If you feel about those options, give yourself a try, because there is a way out. Always,
take action.
You just have to, keep searching.
You got to take
keep
action,
trying,
right?
Keep trying different things, not just trying. Well, I'm trying to do my affirmations regularly. Well, you're either do or don't, right? There are two ways.
Well, I'm going to say it like this, right? If you're a woman or young man, young woman, and you feel hopeless, if you've maybe been raped, if you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, if you're depressed, I want you to call Alisa. I want you to reach out to her. How do people find you?
Psychology Today. My profile is there, Alisa Gracheva.
Say that again?
Psychology Today.
The magazine?
No.
There's a magazine called Psychology.
My bad. Psychology. I'm not sure, but on Google,
okay.
I got the site.
Tell me.
Yes, Alisa Gracheva. If you Google me, you're probably going to find me.
No one's going to be able to spell Gracheva.
You can, yeah.
Gracheva. Now, you're on social media?
Yes.
Can people DM you?
Yes, absolutely. I have Instagram, Alisa_art. That's an easy one.
Say that. Alisa?
Alisa_art.
ART? Mm-hmm. It's easier than Gracheva, everybody.
Yes.
No, I want people to find you. In the Talmud, they say that, and I love this, if you save one life, it's as if you saved the entire world. And those are words, right? But I get it. It took me a minute, but I actually get it. Each one of us is a whole world.
Absolutely.
It's so crazy. And, Einstein proved a lot of these different things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, talk about spirituality now, because your book, Walk with Spirit, is there a sign in somebody's life that the spirit is trying to sort of redirect them? Maybe they get fired from a job, or their boyfriend breaks up with them.
Yeah.
That was the world.
Absolutely.
Trying to redirect. You probably would have stayed with this guy. Codependent and all these different things, right?
Absolutely. I didn't know any better. So for me, that was a life. I didn't think I was abused, because a lot of times we don't understand that we are abused.
You don't understand. You don't understand what was going on.
You just don't know. You're living a life and you think maybe that's normal. We have some hiccups, you would call it, and we have some difficulties, but it's a relationship, and I felt very dedicated to that person.
It is normal for some people, though. That's their normal.
Yeah.
They get beat up. But it wasn't as bad as last time. He's getting better.
We are creatures of habits. It doesn't matter what habits we're in. We get used to anything. Any dysfunctional habits that we have, right? We're going to be stuck with them. So we have to choose very carefully, because our organism, even looking at when we used to be in caves, right? Why our system is able to suppress whether implicit memories or even explicit memories. Explicit, what we can describe. Let's say I can say, okay, I've had 2 years old, that's what happened. And 3 years old, my parents used to fight. But then how I felt through it, that's implicit memory. How did I experience it as a 3-year-old? That will be repressed. Why? Because living in caves, it's not a civilized society. You don't have one person. You're being raped every single day. But if you walk out of that tribe, you're a dead person. You're a dead man or a woman.
You need the protection.
So
right.
you have to live in that space, right? So our body learned to suppress it so we don't wake up the next day in suffering and pain.
Right.
But we actually wake up and we're numb, right? That dissociation from the reality in a way, because it's
Denial,
an automatic
it's a
process.
wonderful thing. It's a comfortable,
Yeah.
It's the level of comfort.
Absolutely.
It's very interesting because it's etched in your DNA, a lot of these things, right?
Yeah.
And you unravel them. And these psychedelics, that's, you can talk to people about that, correct?
Yeah, I can integrate people. I'm a ketamine-assisted psychotherapist as well.
Special K?
Oh, it's so good. It's so helpful.
Listen to me. I can't believe this. We had Zappy in this chair. I swear. He was microdosing. And he talks to me about all these things.
Yeah.
I'm launching a company called Raw Health in like a week. And
Nice.
I'll explain it to you, when we're done.
For sure.
But this is a fascinating opportunity. I can't even believe it. And, one of the things that I learned in the program, I was a man that was taught, you don't cry, you don't complain, nobody gives a shit. You put on your pants like a man.
Yeah.
And you go make things happen. Get it done. That's the way it is. Results. Don't whine. Don't complain. You got pain? Doesn't matter. How you feel? Doesn't matter. All that matters is what you get done, what you do or you don't do, right? Your behavior, etc. And then I came to believe that my life was over. So I went to rehab. I just wanted to go to a place where there was no open bar, where there were no hookers, there was no drug dealers, there was no limos. And I just wanted to dry out for a little bit and sort of recalibrate. My new word, thank you. Oh. And I learned the concept of surrender. What do you feel about that?
I love that word. And I think in many aspects of our lives, we need to practice that because we have this nature inside of ourselves, right? That we're not trying to gasp for our next breath or monitor our next heartbeat. We trust that. And if we extend that trust to life as well, if something happens to us without trying to resist it, we're trying to go with it, seeing what is going to unfold. Because we have pain. Again, pain is losing your job or being in some unfortunate circumstance. But suffering on the outside of that, that's a choice that we have. And if we don't dig into that hole, into that wound that we have, trying to see, why me? Why did I get scratched like this or cut like that? Right? If we just patch it up, say, okay, that happened. What am I doing about it? I have to sterilize it. I have to put it to heal, right? Because time does heal. But we tend to get so preoccupied and stuck with that problem that we grow into the suffering mode that we're not trying to.
Difference between pain and suffering. I never heard that before. This is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I would say
you don't have to suffer. We all have to experience pain.
Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice.
It's optional.
Tzu, yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Tao Te Ching.
I love that. You see, it's all about how your perception, and you have a great you've studied this, but I now know why. Yeah. You're an expert because it was for survival, for your own survival.
Yeah. I've lived there for a very long time.
You've dealt with some shit. I'm the same guy. I'm the same way. I'm the same person. You know that, right?
I see that.
I'm a survivor.
Yeah.
Resilient as fuck. I keep saying I'm ready to go to the next place.
Trusting you and me both.
Work with me, God.
In certain ways. Yeah, life can be weird sometimes, but it's going to be there when we're ready.
It is, but like I learned, my life is on a big screen and I'm sitting in the audience and I'm the only one really watching everything and listening to everything. What do I think of that guy on the screen? What do you think of that woman on the screen? Is she a bad bitch? Do you want to be like that chick? What do you say? Oh gosh, wake up, girl. Fucking come on. What's with you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, star of your show. This is our show.
Absolutely.
And, you're going to make things happen or not. And, God gives us opportunities every single day, puts it right there. Every day he talks to us.
Yeah.
In the Kabbalah, they say that God gives you a decision every day. He gives you an opportunity to receive a blessing or a judgment. That's in the first book of the Zohar, which is 2,024 books, about 1,100 pages each in Hebrew, Aramaic, and English. I read the first 8 books cover to cover, almost 10,000 pages. And in the 7th or 8th book, I can't tell you exactly which one, you find out there are no judgments. They're all blessings.
Yeah.
But those judgments, that's the pain. That's the rape. That's the death of a parent. That's drug addiction. You understand?
Absolutely.
And those are blessings too. Well, if you believe in the whole process of what's going on here, you talk about like the different body parts. We have so many different parts of a whole, right?
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. I love that. And you could expand it even because we're on a journey. Your past life, right? Yeah. I've lived 1,000 lives. I know that.
Yeah.
And, I don't think, like people say, Ross, let me ask you, you believe in God? I mean, you're Ross Mandell. Do you really believe in God? For real? And I'm like, I don't.
I know God.
I don't. I know God.
Yeah.
I know him.
There's difference between knowing about God and knowing God.
Correct. Oh, I know. Just like I know Alisa. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not an issue. I just want to thank you for coming today. This was a great. I have so much more to talk to you about, but this was great. And how do people find your book?
On Amazon, Walking with Spirit, Alisa Gracheva.
Walking with Spirit.
Yes.
Alisa Gracheva.
That's correct.
Gracheva. Gracheva. I highly recommend this book. I'm hoping she's going to send me one.
Oh, yes, that's coming for sure.
I really would love to see that for sure. And I actually read. I know it's shocking.
Yes, nowadays.
You saw my bed, you wouldn't believe it, right? I got like 12 books on my bed. I pick one, I pick another, depending on my mood and what I'm interested in dissecting. And it's really you have a private practice. You're in practice, correct? You're part of a group practice.
I'm in a group practice, yes.
And the name of the group is called?
Caring Therapist.
How'd you come up with that one? I'm playing, of course. Caring Therapists.
Yeah, it's a beautiful group practice. We have a lot of different practitioners that are wonderful.
Really? Tell me,
yes.
different fields, areas of expertise?
Yes, I work with trauma. We have Amanda Patterson is the owner of she made beautiful work with this
Amanda
practice.
Patterson?
Yeah, that's the lady who owns the practice with her husband. It's a family that operates,
so nice.
But they have a lot of locations.
Where are you guys located?
We are in Coral Springs, but there is Davie, Sunrise, Palm Beach. They have it all over the place. Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, we have about 85 or so therapists in there, so you can find the right person.
And which one are you associated with?
With the Coral Springs office. I live in Plantation, so I'm right there.
So it's an easy trip for you.
Yeah.
And so people can experience a private session with Alisa.
Absolutely. I work with insurance as well, but we have a lot of therapists, so people will be able to find someone they feel connection
Caring
with.
Therapist.
Yeah.
Headquartered in?
Davie, Florida.
It's my daughter. I'm not supposed to say these things. I'm on double secret probation.
Okay.
But this has really been a great day. I really appreciate you. Alisa Gracheva, Walking with Spirit.
Yes.
Caring Therapist, Group Practice, Special K, Microdosing.
Yeah, that's another place. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but I'm just saying, I want the world to know that that you're open for business.
Yes.
And you're a wonderful human being, and you are not just somebody that talks shit or went to school. You're living your recovery.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming today.
It was an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for having me.